More hurricanes and more major hurricanes than forecast have developed. This is the fourth busiest season on record, and we are still not even two-thirds of the way through. October can be a very busy month. November, typically quieter. Hurricane Rita is the 17th named storm, and here it is. So that's a bit of historical context. So we understand that, okay, this doesn't actually happen every year, but it has been active. And last year, Max Mayfield, the head of the Hurricane Center in Florida, said this is a season to tell your grandchildren about. Well, I can't wait to see what he's going to say at the end of this season, because this is another one of them. Just look at Hurricane Rita. I mean, it's quite a monster storm. There are some, gusty conditions and high waves and some wet weather all the way back through Florida. It's weakened a little. It's a Category 4 storm now. Big deal. 240 kilometers an hour, 260 kilometers an hour. I mean, we're talking about, in the overall scheme of things, some minor downgrades. It is oscillating a bit. I mean, were it to drop down to a weak Category 4 or Category 3, that would certainly be better, but it's moving through very warm waters. So it is going to be oscillating a little bit further in terms of strengthening, weakening, likely to be at least a Category 3 when it reaches land. And that will be late tomorrow or early Saturday morning. On a west-northwesterly track now, expected to veer more northerly. Big ridge of high pressure here, steering it. It's got counter or clockwise winds, rather, helping to steer it into the coast. Now that's the most likely track, and there is your range of possibility, east and west. It could bobble still a little bit further. It has encountered a bit of wind shear, which is one of the things that tends to weaken storms. But as I say, it's only dropped to about 240 sustained kilometers an hour. It's still capable of producing huge waves. Residents have been bringing in everything that can float or fly before they leave the area. You think of those winds and the fact that they can destroy small buildings. They bring down trees and signs, and then everything is fair game. The wind just throws it all around. Everything becomes a projectile. That is everything that's not submerged, because along with hurricane conditions, and there's your warning, meaning hurricane conditions within 24 hours, from Morgan City, Louisiana, all the way through to Port O'Connor. Within this zone, we're going to see likely the heaviest rain, a foot as possible, 300 millimeters very easily, plus tornadoes. These storms are just big heat engines with severe thunderstorms embedded. And along with that, the winds of these storms build up a storm surge. Basically, it's a rapid rise in the sea level, and it moves inland. And the worst of it will be on the east side of the track, so likely at this point, Galveston east. And the storm surge, glad you asked, how much? 18 feet, 20 feet, possible. Think of how much that is moving inland, waves on top, projectiles on top of that. This is a very, very dangerous situation. There's no other way to categorize it. Some things can change between now and 24 hours, but it is still a major and potentially hugely destructive storm that we're dealing with.
This pavement and move, but that's extremely dangerous. So you've got police